Just this past weekend, I took a ride around Red River Gorge here in eastern Kentucky. One great part of this trip involves a man-made tunnel dating back to the early 1900s. The Nada Tunnel is pretty remarkable and a must for anyone who wishes to ride a stretch of road that is known as the Eye of the Dragon. The tunnel is narrow and only big enough for a single row of cars going in one direction. Now, courtesy dictates that you wait on either side of the tunnel as a few cars and motorcycles pass through, and then you take your turn. I was the first in line on my side of the tunnel, and I was waiting as a stream of about 8 cars made their way through. I cautiously checked the tunnel for headlights and, seeing none, decided that it was safe to begin my passage through. A little over halfway, with several cars following behind me, I noticed a lone headlight ahead. Figuring that this motorcyclist would wait until the line of traffic had cleared the tunnel, I kept going forward. Suddenly I realized that he'd gone ahead and entered the tunnel. There was room for he and I to pass by each other, but there was no way that he would be able to make it past the cars that were behind me. He had no other choice but to turn around and go back out of the tunnel and wait until it was clear. This error in judgment on his part and the subsequent turnaround is what led me to come up with this illustration for the devotion for this week. Life on two wheels can teach us much about navigating change in the journey of transformation. Just as we might turn our motorcycles around to find a new route or escape an obstacle, we can also turn our lives around with the guidance of Christ. When riding, sometimes the road ahead is not what we expected, and we need to turn around to find a better path. Similarly, when we follow Christ, we can experience a profound change in direction. 2 Corinthians 5:17 reminds us, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come." In Christ, we become new creations. The mistakes of our past, the rough patches that we've weathered, and the detours that we've taken no longer define who we are. We have the opportunity to start anew, leaving the old behind and embracing a new way of living. The prophet Isaiah records these words, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." Isaiah is writing of the transformative power of God. Just as a skilled rider adapts to new terrain, God invites us to embrace the new things that He is doing in our lives. Sometimes the journey may feel like riding through a wilderness or desert, but God promises to make a way where there seems to be none. Trusting Him means believing that He is crafting a path for us, even when we can't see it clearly. Navigating through life's twists and turns requires guidance, much like following a road map. In Proverbs chapter 3, we are encouraged to trust in the Lord completely, not to rely on our own understanding, but to seek His direction. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make straight your paths. By acknowledging Him in all our ways, He promises to make our paths straight. This guidance is crucial for finding the right course and avoiding the pitfalls that can arise when we try to go alone. On the road, it's easy to get fixated on the obstacles that we've encountered or the miles that we've already traveled. However, throughout the Bible, we are taught to focus on the journey ahead and not to be bogged down by past errors. Just as we keep our eyes on the road to avoid hazards, we should keep our eyes on Christ, pressing toward the goal that He has set for us. When we're unsure of our next move, we can take comfort in Matthew 7:7. By asking, seeking, and knocking, we open ourselves to the wisdom and direction Christ offers. He is always there, ready to guide us and provide for our needs, just as a reliable compass helps a rider find their way. Just as every ride teaches us something new about handling our bikes, our journey with Christ is filled with opportunities for growth and transformation. Let each turn and twist in your life remind you of the new direction Christ offers and promise of His guidance. Ride on with faith and purpose. Brothers, I do not consider that I have made it my own, but one thing I do, forgetting what lies behind and straining for what lies ahead. I press on toward the goal for the prize of the upward call of God in Christ Jesus.